I'm Ala. I'm Abdullah.
And I'm Nyla.
And we're here today with hashtag Can You Vote Matter and hashtag Can Minority Vote Matter awareness campaign. Our campaign encourages youth and minorities to be more involved in the Canadian electoral process and voting. We are honored to have today with us Narine Dat Sookram, NDP MP candidate for Kitchener-Conestoga. Thank you, Narine, for being with us today.
My pleasure.
So our first question to you is, Narine, can you please tell us about yourself, about how and why you got into politics and your political struggles?
Well, first of all, I work as a social worker, and I've seen firsthand the challenges when it comes to people finding housing, affordable housing that is. I've seen the challenges when it comes to parents finding affordable daycare, challenges in finding meaningful work and so forth. And I find that I needed to do more. I needed to do more to see that we have some policy changes when it comes to politics. And that's one of the things that motivate me to actually enter politics. And that's one of the reasons I'm running, to represent Kitchener-Conestoga, representing the NDP for the federal government.
Thank you. Ryan, why do you think youth and minority vote matter, and what steps can be taken to get them more involved in the election?
Well, for me, youths and minority vote matters because eventually youth will not remain at youth. And sometimes we as adults, we fail to recognize that the young folks have lots to offer. I know that when it comes to minority, as a minority myself, I know that they always get the short end of the stick. And I think that we need to continuously put the issue on the table and make sure that we are not putting the younger folks at the back burners, so to speak, right? I'm aware because I work with lots of youths as well too in social services, and I recognize that the youths, their voice are not being heard, particularly when it comes to minority. The system needs to change.
Thank you.
For all youth, affordable education models, where do you stand?
Well, I always believe in education. I happen to be the first generation to graduate both from college and university. So I understand the importance of a really good education. There's a reason why the NDP, has a few interesting pieces in place. So for example, we will forgive, all the university and college students up to $20,000. And we will also provide more granting, so that way they will be able to complete their education if they so choose without having to worry about the financial burden.
Thank you. Narine, for youth and minority, better jobs movement, where do you stand on?
Absolutely. So that's my area of expertise, by the way. So I happen to work for the biggest agency here in Ontario, funded by the federal government, and that's Employment Ontario. So I've seen it firsthand. The problem is, when jobs are being created, nobody creates jobs and say, you know what, let's give 5% to the minority or anything of that kind. The problem is, when jobs are being created, the people who are in charge, they are not giving opportunity to the people. So for example, the government may throw $20 million to create jobs in certain sector. Having said that, the money is being filtered down into different programs, different regions and so on, and the people who are in charge are not always doing a good job. For example, there are government-funded programs here in the region of Waterloo where they will take a Muslim person and they will put them on receptionist. They will take a black person, they'll put them on their website. But when you dig deep, you will see that all the folks behind the curtain are all white folks, and that is an issue.
Thank you. Narine, for many youths, better environment models, where do you stand?
Well, this is an issue that has been about for years. This is not a single man issue. This is not an issue where just a handful of people can tackle this. All of us need to work together. We have to start by doing things to make sure that we travel differently, we move around differently. We have to make sure that we take good care of of the water. We have to make sure that we take good care of the soil and those kinds of things. Having said that though, nothing comes easy. We need to focus and make sure that we put funding in the right places. But at the same time, I believe that we cannot feed off an empty bucket. So what that means is we have to make sure that people can live very comfortable, make sure that people have decent job, make sure that education, becomes more accessible for people of minority and youth and so on. When all of that is in place, it is so much easier for us to work when it comes to, things like environment and so on. Thank you.
Narine, the youth and minority affordable housing matters. Where do you stand?
Well, housing is that's a good question. So housing has also been a really good issue. I've seen here in the region, Waterloo, how people are struggling to find a place to live. People are just struggling just to make their monthly payment. I've seen that firsthand working in social services. There's a reason why the NDP has a plan in place, and the plan is to make sure that we come up with over 500,000 affordable housing. Having said that though, this is across the country. So what that means, we will need to elect an NDP in this area so that we can fight to make sure those housing come in this area, because we can easily build 500,000 housing, but if we don't have any in this area, or have anybody to fight to make sure we have some here, we are going to be in this same boat years and years and years to come.
Thank you.
Narine, if youth and minorities want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Oh, there are several ways, and I would love if youths and minority can get involved. I know it can be a little bit hesitant at first, but do know that you can check us out, through my website, NarineDat.com. That is Narine Dat Sookram .com. That's the website. You can also find me on LinkedIn. The easiest thing, if you happen to, are in front of a computer right now or in front of a phone, if you were to Google my name, you will find me on social media somewhere. So finding me is not an issue. There are several ways you can email me, by the way, because we have our campaign email address, which is electnarine.sookram@gmail.com, all of that. But for those of you who already have my existing email, you can definitely reach out. If you choose to call, if that works better for you, you can also call 519-579-4680. But do know that I'm very accessible. Do know that I meet a lot of people virtually, and I will do the extra pieces to make sure that we are connected, now and prior to the election, and even after.
Thank you. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I would like to thank these young folks for really understanding the importance of what politics is all about. I think sometimes people get confused and mixed up. We don't vote every day. We don't vote every 3 weeks or every 4 weeks. People don't realize that the government, they have lots of control. They control lots of resources and money. They're the one, set policies in place that affects you and I. And so we cannot continuously fight among ourselves, to make things happen, right? We need to make changes where it can affect more people. As a social worker, I see that we are making changes, small changes, but we need to make it at a big level. But we need more people to think like these folks. I want to thank the parents as well too for allowing these folks to really blossom and doing the things that they love. I'm a fan of them. I've always been. And the father is behind the scene too. I want to acknowledge that. And it's so nice to have parents that support kids when it comes to these kinds of initiatives. I can see with the third eye, and I am predicting that all of these three folks here will do amazing things to come. The things that they have already done, even adults cannot do it. And so I would like to thank all three of you. I'm so happy that you guys invited me to be part of this, because we are all in it together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Narine. We hope you have the same success.
Thank you.
Youth and Minority, on Monday, September 20th, 2021, your vote matters. Remember, #CanYouthVoteMatter and #CanMinorityVoteMatter. Thank you.